Hello, my name is Ethan Stanford, and this is my tribute speech to Socrates. Imagine a world where questions held more power than answers, and wisdom was measured not only by what one knew, but their willingness to explore the unknown. In the heart of ancient Athens, a luminary emerged who shattered conventions and laid the foundation for Western philosophy. This was Socrates. Join me in uncovering his teachings, life, and legacy of the philosophical giant Socrates. Socrates was said to be the wisest man in all of ancient Greece by the oracle Delphi. This was proven through multiple different avenues of his legacy, namely the Socratic method. Socrates would select one of his students, and they would insert a thesis. Socrates would then determine whether or not he agreed with this thesis, and he would, after determining if he agreed with the thesis or not, he would then offer a rebuttal. For example, Socrates secures, courage is a fine thing, and endurance is not a fine thing, and this is in response to courage as endurance of the soul. Socrates would then argue with his student by providing logic but not fact, constantly providing logic to what he said, to what the student said, to then change his student's opinion. Socrates and his student would then come to a factual conclusion that they can both agree upon by using logic. Another example, or this is a hypothetical example of the Socratic method being used from the perspective of Socrates. Another example of Socrates was he displayed massive amounts of his wisdom through the Stoicism that was displayed during the duration of the time he was aware of his death penalty. By accepting the notion of death, he had to deal with existentialism. Existentialism is a concept that deals with free will and living. An existential crisis is usually brought upon when existentialism is threatened via death. Socrates was threatened with the death penalty around the age of 70, and it was just way too early. He had to deal with this notion of death at a very young age, and he was very stoic throughout the process. Dealing with this notion of death, Socrates held his integrity throughout the entire duration of the entire process. Integrity was a virtue that Socrates idealized. Socrates showed integrity by questioning authority. Socrates consistently questioned the authority and leaders of his time period. He engaged in open dialogues with fellow citizens and challenged their wisdom. This includes his students. He challenged everybody using logic. He would question every single societal norm that was provided at this time. He also taught by example. Socrates was extremely famous for the way in which he taught his students. One of his most notable students was Plato, another influential philosopher. In conclusion, Socrates was an extremely influential philosopher who changed the masses' perceptions of reality and influenced my cognitive processes as well. Thank you.